So this past weekend, I played at the Stones Throw Spring Open. This coming weekend, I am playing at Project 15 Open. And I was gonna just do a quick video to kind of go through the bag. What do I have in my bag right now for last weekend and this weekend? Some of the discs are, going to be familiar to people who follow my channel. You'll know that they're in my bag. First off, my putting putters. I'm using these Electron Soft Pixels. I find them very comfortable. They're like the perfect depth for me. I know some people don't like their depth. Some people want something more overstable, but for me, these are just really good. This past weekend, I had a couple. I wasn't quite getting the power I need to get on a lot of my longer putts, so I was hitting cage a lot, but that also still gives me confidence to go for putts because I knew I wasn't really missing left or right very much. I mostly was missing low. A couple times I was chained out on the left, but like I was getting my metal hits at the very least, and that just made me more confident to go for more of those longer throws because I was not going too far left or right. I could put it on a line, and I was kind of just hitting my line straight towards the basket, which is great. As far as throwing putters, I'm using the Envy and the Proxy. I've had people ask me why the Proxy, why the Envy. The Proxy was getting a little bit flippy on me, and I was getting a little too much flip on a couple of holes because it's beat in. It's a little bit warped. I've been playing with it for a while, but this is a really good disc for when I need a straight shot. Whereas the Envy just has more of that stability. Also a little bit warped. I've been playing with it for again like a year, but it's got that stability that I like and I can trust. And so those are my two throwing putters. Both of them I feel very confident with long straight shots, long hard shots. Especially like the Envy, I know it's going to fade. It's going to kind of hit that zone I want. Whereas the Proxy, I'm very comfortable throwing this as a long straight approach disc. Up in the top, I have two mids right now that are in the bag because different reasons. The Sky Terron is in. They've made this orange. Discape, I want to support Discape because they're a Canadian brand. I want to have something in my bag from them. I used it on a couple of holes. It's not the disc that I'm necessarily going to pull out a lot. It's straight with a slight bit of stability. It's not like incredibly stable, but it's not going to flip on me. So I do have some confidence in that. And then the Stokely Cardinal. I think I used this one time on one throw this past weekend. We'll see what happens at Project 15. I am recording with a GoPro my rounds, but this is just a disc. I know it's very overstable. It says it's a 2.5 for stability, but I found it more overstable than my Nord that I have for an overstable shot. But it also gets massive flare skips off the ground a lot of times. This past weekend it wasn't because it was so wet. It was so incredibly wet at Stones Throw. So that was another reason I didn't pull it out, because it just wasn't getting any ground skips. So that utility of this was gone, but that's what's in the top of my bag. Moving to the main compartment, I have 3 more putters. In the middle, I have the Glitch. I really love the Glitch. This is one of my favorite discs to throw. I think I throw it very well. Again, I know I can trust this for straight shots. And I know I can just put this out with a nice little soft approach and let it glide. And it's just going to glide for a long time without having to put a ton of power in to get where I need it to go. So when I have a shot that I am, I need to be very confident and accurate. And so I don't want to power up to try and get there to the basket because I want to just focus on the accuracy. I can count on the Glitch to get there. The next one is the Range. It's a 2-speed, 1 glide, and it really is good for you, the opposite of the Glitch. You can put some power behind this and get it up and know it's going to end up coming down and just dropping as it slows down. Hole 15 at Stones Throw. It's a par 4, not a very long one, but they have an OB moat. and they have OB all the way around this hole. And if you go into the moat, you have to go from either your previous lie or the drop zone. They have a special waiver from the PDGA for this hole. And I threw the range. I got 6 strokes with the range over 2 rounds, because I upshot with the range, full send, drops right before the water, and I knew I was going to get that distance. I just did, mark it, pick it up, nice little putt with this onto the top of the island. And because this is unlike the Berg, which is very overstable, this is a bit understable. So it's not really finding an edge. It's just kind of going up and dropping. So I'm not getting rollaways with it, which has been great. I really have been liking this disc. And then the last one of the putters is the Zone GT. This is the test flight one, the Banger GT Zone. I really, again, enjoy this disc. I have a lot of confidence in this disc on my approaches. I didn't throw it a lot. I threw it a couple of times. And when I did, it really did come in clutch. I had one shot with it where it was, I had a very tight window. I needed the overstability. I knew I could count on this disc and get through. Another one, I needed a forehand disc. I'm very comfortable with the forehand with this, and park it right near the basket. So it's been great. Moving on to the left side of my bag, I have my mid-ranges. So starting off, I have the Elevation Interceptor. I did not use this. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I used this once on one hole, and it didn't really work out for me a little bit. It was hole 14. It's really slippery. It's a water carry, and I kind of slipped and just put this up on like a big spike hyzer type throw, and that was not the intention. And so it ended up going off, hitting the water. But it's in the bag. It's a great utility disc for when you want to park something and don't need a rollaway. Paradox, I did not actually throw this weekend, but this is my very understable disc. This is when I have a big corner that I want to hit that's a left to right corner, but I don't really want it to just dump out on that going right. I want it to kind of in the end stabilize out and carry. I oftentimes will use the Paradox. This past weekend didn't throw it at all, but it's in the bag for those utility shots. Because unlike with a backhand, then I know I can hit it. I put a little bit of hyzer on it, it'll flip up, carry straight a little bit as it flips up, then turn around a corner, and then it'll flatten back out, and I can get some distance around the corner rather than just dumping off like a forehand would. Then I have the Lobster. The Lobster is less understable than the Paradox, and so I did use this one a couple of times because this is again that same idea of when I want a little bit of right to left, but I want a straight finish, a straight carry at the end. I used this to get a really nice birdie on the course last weekend. I haven't played Project 15. I haven't seen its changes to know which of these discs I'm going to use where yet, but that's my understable mid-ranges. Going up to my straight mid-range is the Compass, and much like the Proxy, I can just trust this disc. I know it's not going to really go right, and it's not really going to go left. I can just put this for a nice straight shot, and just really the Project grip, I really find I can get a good grip, good snap on this disc. So where the Compass is supposed to be a 0-1, I find I get enough snap on this that I really just get like a 0-0. Like it just carries very straight for me. The Nord is more for my overstable mid-range, and this is not as overstable as an 03 suggests. I find it's very zero, very straight. It goes straight for a long time, but it has that reliable hookup at the end where it's not going to necessarily like carry me around a corner, but it's going to just dump off without flipping on me. So I really like it for that. It's a very reliable disc. I feel very comfortable with it. Backhands, forehands, either one. I really enjoy throwing it. Then we get up to the overstable mid-range, which is the MX1 by Prodigy. I had this one signed by Ezra. Again, people who follow the channel, you're going to have seen this disc a few times. And this is one where I can, call on the power of the Robin spin and put this out, and I know it's going to go around a corner. Or I can, if I need something that's going to start like an S, I can put this on a forced anhyzer. It's going to flatten out and then go around a corner. If I need to like miss a bunch of trees and then fade back, this is really good for that. The right side of my bag, I have a bunch of drivers, and starting towards the center is I start understable to stable out towards the edge. And I also go speed lowest to fastest. So starting first, I have the river. I tried to use the river a couple of times, or one time last weekend. It's a pretty short course, so I didn't have a lot of call for drivers, but I use this as an understable. I can snap it, get some spin. It's gonna go carry a bit right. I can put it on a forced anhyzer to really get around corners. Again, didn't really need this. Tried this one time and didn't get enough turn, so I ended up going to the lobster the next time I was on the hole. But I really enjoy the river. I also have the cookie with the Cookie Monster on it. Just released a video. Arc Disc dyed this for me. I've been loving this disc. It is definitely overstable. I was hoping for it to be a little bit straighter. People told me that it's straighter. I think the tone variant that this is slightly more overstable. But I really enjoy this disc. I used this a couple of times, and the one time I really did get a very nice birdie with it. I put it out, let it fade, let it crash towards the basket, and I knew I put it out. I threw it, and I knew it was a good throw. And then as it was like going into around the corner, I knew it was like close to the basket. I didn't see where it landed, but I just knew I had that opportunity, which was very nice. It feels very comfortable, so I'm very happy with this disc. Then I have the Hoya. RPM Hoya discs also, both this and the Cookie say they're 7502, but the Hoya is definitely overstable. It is a beefy monster, and I know I can throw this disc. I can throw this towards OB, and I know it's going to crash, and it's going to come back in. Very overstable monster, especially for someone of my arm speed. So I really enjoy this. Not afraid in the wind with this shot. If there's a shot of like I'm worried about a headwind, I know this thing is not going to flip for me. Moving on, I have the Virus. Right now, the Virus is still in my bag. I'm not super confident in the Virus to do what I want it to do. There are times where I get this disc. Here's my longer flippy driver, 9.5, negative 3.51. But with MVP, if you don't get enough spin on it, you're not getting the gyro ability, and it becomes more overstable. And I do find that with this disc, there's times where I get nice flip and it goes, and there's times where it just is kind of straight. So I'm looking at discs right now. That's the next project I have, is replacing this disc. But right now it's still in my bag. I do have confidence to throw it. It's just that there's times where it doesn't actually do what I anticipate and I'm trying to get it to do, and it disappoints me more than like I have lack of confidence in it. I really do enjoy the feel of MVP, or Axiom in this case. So I like having it in the bag. It's very similar to the next disc I'm going to talk about, which is my favorite disc. It's in there for now. It's going to get replaced. That video is yet to come out. This disc is my favorite disc. I didn't realize how much I loved this disc until I lost the previous one. This, of course, being the Inertia. I had to replace the Inertia with another Inertia. I was trying to do so with other discs, and just nothing for me is quite as nice. For my backhand drive, and even I trust this on a forehand. It feels very comfortable to me on a forehand. I really like this disc. It's misstamped with Reactor, so it was a factory misprint. That's the only thing wrong with this disc. It's a beautiful disc, but yeah, I hit this so well, and I got a birdie look on hole 18, and the first time I went to OB because it flipped up a little bit too much, and it just about came back in, but didn't get the fight through the trees to actually come back in. It stopped right before the OB line. The second time I corrected, I just threw a little bit more left, and I got a birdie look with it. Almost got the birdie. Just 31 feet was a little bit too far for me that day. So it's not always. It just on last week Saturday, it just was a little bit too far for my putting. I wasn't quite getting the power on the edge of circle, but I really love this disc. For me, again, I got a slight bit of flip up, and then it just comes back, and I trust this on very straight drives. So the inertia definitely has a place there. And going up, this is my most overstable disc as far as high-speed drivers. This is what I trust for spike hyzers. Used this on just one hole, used it both times. And again, I know I can trust this disc that I'm gonna put it up and it's gonna come down. When I tried this, I didn't think I would like it, and it was just in my bag because it was in my bag. When I found this disc, I was looking for my Mamba, which went in the water, pulled this one out, called a guy, and he was like, I never want to see that disc again. So I took it, I bagged it, did not replace the Mamba, obviously, but at the same time, fell in love with it. So, and then lastly, I have the Project Grip Grace. And this disc, once again, I feel like I get a really good rip off the Project Grip plastic. I really enjoy the Project Grip plastic. Wish this came in orange. This is the best disc for me for an 11 speed. I can throw this better than any other 11 speed that I have tried. Haven't retried the Mamba since I've gotten better. But yeah, I can get this disc to go far. The problem is that for me, it's slightly overstable. So it's just a little bit out of my comfort range. Now I have carry with me, I did not have this goat towel on the day last week because I was letting a friend borrow it, but I do go with this cart. I have with me a MVP force field that goes kind of over everything for when it's raining, but it wasn't raining on the day, so I didn't use it. I carry with me multiple minis. I have minis in this pocket. I got minis in this pocket, 2 more minis here. Then I have my foundation mini, my PDGA mini. I have a couple of pens, or a pen and a couple of Sharpies that I carry with me. Spare towel. Got 2 spare towels. I have the retriever. On the day, I do have water bottles with me at tournaments. I had some bug spray. And then I have with me, this is my normal use towel to knock off the mud. That's why it's kind of colored the way it's colored. Just an old beat up towel that I kind of tie to my cart. And so when there's mud, I will rip it off the mud with this. But I pull this towel out, the Mario towel, in order to wipe off the actual water and get the disc as dry as possible. And I also have this chalk bag where I have a thing of chalk that I don't use. I've never used. I don't really like the feel of chalk, but I do use this sports sack. And so because it was so wet, this was a very good thing for me to have on the course. Dry off with the towel, knock off the mud with the towel, dry off with the Mario. And then a lot of times I'll even just take this sports sack and I will just wipe the edge of the disc. And that really just finishes off the drying. And then I feel very comfortable, like that is dry. So that's great. And then the last thing I took with me was this stool. It packs up nice. I hang it right off of the cart like that, push it around. When there's a backup, when you're waiting, take out the stool and take a seat. This was something that we got off of Amazon. It's not very expensive, but my wife and I decided to get this, and it's just a really nice addition to when I'm doing a tournament. Now at the tournament, we got 2 things. We got umbrellas given to us, and the umbrella says Stones Throw on it, Stones Throw Disc Golf. Nice umbrella. I have an umbrella holder, but it wasn't raining, so I didn't end up using it. Just like the force field, I took it with me to the tournament, didn't need it. And then we also got a disc, and so I grabbed a Valkyrie, and that was the Stones Throw Open. This is my in the bag. This is what I'll be using this week at the Project 15 Open. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, the last part I forgot to mention, I have this up here. So I have my umbrella holder, but I also have right here for my camera, and I was just sticking the GoPro to this, and that's how I've been getting the footage. I got this cart mostly to use as a tripod. GoPro fits here real nicely. And then GoPro's not very heavy, so you can just kind of like park the cart, twist, get it level, record, move on. And so it's a great way to get tournament footage.